1 year before her death, Dolly Parton opened up about a deeply personal wish: to tell her own life story while she was still alive. The country music icon wanted her fans to hear her journey directly from her, and that vision ultimately became a musical celebrating the woman behind the legend. The People spoke with Parton in August 2025 for her November 2025 cover story, when she was reflecting on her legacy and the next chapter of her extraordinary career. At the time, she explained why telling her story in her own voice mattered so much to her. Parton said she had spent years thinking about how her life should be portrayed, and she believed a musical made more sense for her than a traditional biopic. For Dolly, music was the perfect way to combine her personal experiences with the songs that made her famous. Her idea eventually became Dolly, a true original musical, a production built around her career, her life, and her philanthropic work. The musical first had a limited 4-week engagement in Nashville before heading toward Broadway in New York. Parton explained that her story was simply too big to squeeze into a conventional 3-hour production. She wanted the musical to capture not only what happened in her life, but also the emotions, memories, and stories behind the music. And there was one thing Dolly was particularly determined about: she wanted to tell the story herself. Reflecting on the project, she said she wanted to tell her life story from me, my truth, not somebody else's. That desire came from knowing that countless versions of Dolly Parton's story would eventually exist. She understood that people would have their own opinions and interpretations of her career, but she wanted at least one version to come directly from the woman who lived it. Parton also wanted to reveal what was happening behind some of her biggest songs. She said the musical would include her iconic hits, but also explain how those songs came to be and what was happening in her life when she wrote them. For Dolly, that was important because she believed people knew the songs, but they didn't necessarily know the stories behind them. She compared the idea to her Songteller book, where she shared her personal stories connected to her music. The musical also allowed Parton to revisit where everything began. She reflected on growing up without electricity and described her journey as moving from what felt like the Dark Ages into the modern world. That extraordinary transformation was something Dolly herself found fascinating. She went from a childhood of poverty and limited resources to becoming one of the most recognizable entertainers and songwriters in the world. Parton also acknowledged that her journey had come with plenty of pain. She said it was a life she had suffered a lot for, which made it even more important for her to have a say in how that story was ultimately presented to the public. And Dolly knew that revealing personal details could surprise people. She said many were shocked that she was willing to share so much about herself, but she also made it clear that people never truly know everything about another person, even someone as famous as Dolly Parton. That philosophy became part of what she wanted the musical to accomplish. She wanted audiences to discover things they may never have known about her, while also experiencing the songs and moments that defined her decades-long career. Now, following Dolly Parton's death at 80, those words carry an even deeper meaning. She wanted to tell her story while she was still here to tell it herself, and through her music, her memories, and Dolly, a true original musical, she made sure her own voice would remain part of that story.